What's going on, guys? It's Bridget and we're here with another ban list no sooner than January 21st. Well, it's January 18th now and we are not far off it, so better time now than never to do my ban list prediction video. It's going to be a bit different. We're going to be seeing pictures and what I feel for each card. I'm going to give a brief description on why I think it, unless I just feel that there's just no point in it being where it's at. So without further ado, let's begin with number 86, Heroic Champion, however the hell you pronounce that, aka Rongo. Banned. There's no point in this card being existed. I hate FTKs and degenerate strategies that simply just do not allow you to play the game. And although you could hit Bongo, I don't know the number, but anyway, Bamboozling Gossip Shadow, I feel that that card could see play in a slightly fairer deck, whereas this card creates stupid degeneracy. I have played against this deck before this deck was even a deck. I know, but before people were playing this, and this was the main FTK, when Firewall was legal, I came up against this at a YCS and I was like, wow, why is no one else playing this? Then Firewall got hit and everyone started playing it. So for me, it's got to go. I don't like FTKs, I don't like degenerate strategies, and that justifies number 86, banned. From one XE to another, Beatrice, Lady of Eternal. Semi-limited. Yes, I know, Cherubini and Burning Abyss are getting all this new support, and you know what, this is actually becoming my least favourite deck to play against, especially after local yesterday, where it's the only thing I came up against. Everywhere I sat, there was a player playing Burning Abyss. Every time I looked over to somebody else's table, I seen a Dante summoned, and I went to bed last night dreaming about nothing but Dante, 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 mill 3, mill 3, mill 3, mill 3, mill 3. It was like I was playing bloody Burning Abyss format and I went to a Burning Abyss tournament where everyone was playing Burning Abyss. It was actually pretty silly, but although that is said, I do feel Beatrice, Lady of Eternal could actually go back to 2. I don't feel that it is actually that broken when your opponent manages to summon a Beatrice, Lady of Eternal. Yes, it dumps a card and can be used in much other things other than Burning Abyss, being also a rank 6 generic card, but I just feel that it's not as bad as people seem. And in the OCG, up until a recent ban list, they had 3 Beatrice to 1 Dante, so I feel if Beatrice goes to 2, and then we see how that goes, and if it's then really bad, I feel that you then hit Dante over going and hitting Beatrice again, but that's just my opinion. Sayuja Skuldred. A limit to Sayuja Skuldred would actually cure a lot more than people think. Being able to use Skuldred to make another Skuldred is actually really broken, and is used in a lot of things like the Slash Draw FTK. And although I did say earlier that I hate FTKs, I do prop the Slash Draw FTK, as I believe it does require a little bit more skill than most other decks. And I feel Skuldred at 1 would completely check the Slash Draw FTK, because not only do they then not get multiple draw 4s, but if they have to go back in their deck for a search for something like a Danger Nessie and all that, it actually ruins the stacking of the slash draw, so they cannot perform it. So they would have to, if they wish to continue to play the slash draw FTK, they would have to be very highly skilled of when to summon the Skuldred to draw the 4 cards. Also, I just feel that Skuldred to 1 is just needed. Being able to use it, like I said, for another material, being able to use it as then special summon a card, then use that card and the Skuldred plus 2 others to make another, draw 4 again, special summon something else, is really broken and being potential, and it does happen a lot to draw 12 in 1 turn off 1 card really. It's just not very good, and I think Sayuja to 1 is needed. Book of Moon. Book of Moon was once one of the greatest cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! And unfortunately it has been power crept, and it's been power crept very hard. With the new mechanic, which isn't very new now, of link summoning, cards can simply just not be booked, and although a well-timed Book of Moon can completely stop a player from link summoning, it's just not used at all at 1, and that's not because it's at 1, it's just because it's been majorly power crept. I did heavily debate just putting this straight to 3, but I feel putting it at 2 and testing the waters first, like it's probably the best with most cards, is what this needs. Book of Moon, semi-limited. Sky Striker, Mobilizer Engage. Oh, it's the big one in my opinion on the ban list, but Sky Striker Mobilizer Engage to 1 is a huge hit to the Sky Striker engine. Being able to stop probably one of the best draw and search cards ever in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is absolutely huge. This thing, like I've heard on another video, is basically Pot of Greed. It allows you to search and draw. It gets you 2 cards just like Pot of Greed for no cost. And you can argue cards like Tomb Table of Contents also get you a search and that for no cost, but it doesn't give that bonus of drawing a card. And you know, you can argue that you need 3 spells in the grave to draw the card, but it's Sky Strikers. If you don't have 3 spells in the grave, you're clearly playing the deck wrong. So I think Sky Striker Mobilizer Engage to 1. Chaos Emperor Dragon, Envoy of the End. I'm going to keep this one simple. There's no point editing this and cutting it and making it somewhat recordable, but the card's been errated. I don't really need to say much, and the errata doesn't really make it broken anymore. Put it to 1, test the waters. Heck, if that's fine, put it back to 3. Gold start to 1, back where it belongs. Truthfully, to be honest, I use this card a lot. I use this in a lot of decks, but mainly this is here because of Thunder Dragons. The card just does too much in Thunder Dragons, being able to send one of the Thunder Dragons, and they all get their effect when they're banished, I believe, just starts the combo without them doing any sort of normal summoning or special summoning. It just gives them the way to go. It helps them create Thunder Dragon Colossus and Thunder Dragon Titan a lot quicker. And to be honest, I did heavily debate on putting Colossus on this because it's a really, really good card. Puts you under a constant draw. And I've played against a Thunder Dragon player that managed to bust out triple Colossus, and I did very well, and I outed 2 of them, but 3 is so hard to get over, and this card just helps that so much quicker, as well as a bunch of other things, stuff that I actually somewhat have and use, like being able to send Giant Rex to start combos in things like Light Swarms, sending things like Necroface to power up Gren Manjus. These are just decks I own and have used Gold Sack in. But it's too broken, and it's mainly Thunder Dragons, and this is my initial hit for Thunder Dragons. Golden Sarcophagus to 1. I mean, come on, you've seen that I put Gumblar on this list. It wasn't going to 1 or 2, let's be honest. Gumblar for 6 is just as broken as Rongo, it's just as broken as most other things, and it's just keeping this short. It needs to go. Preferably after I get rid of the one in my binder. Pantheism of the Monarchs. When Pantheism originally got put to 1, it also got put to 1 with Monarch Stormforth, and I believe it was Aether, and I feel that this was just way too much of a hit for a deck that's very similar to Sky Strikers right now, and it always found its way in that top court of big events, but never really seemed to be doing much. It took a few events, but not enough to warrant where the deck needed the complete slice and dice that it got, and I feel that Pantheism 2 really will help a lot of Monarch players, but still not push it to the tier that it once was. Bit of an initial hit, but whenever we do finally decide that Needle Fiber is going to come to the TCG, this is the problem with that card. This is so broken, and being able to constantly recur itself when you have tokens, and when you get rid of it, it gives you a token, is just silly. And there's just a lot of really, really bad things you could have done in the OCG when this was legal with Needle Fiber at 3, and I think that it just needs to get hit here before we get Needle Fiber. Maybe that might extend Needle Fiber's life when it finally decides to come to the TCG. Wind Up Magician. Again, just another one I'm going to keep short, but I mean, why is this card at 2? I know there's a lot you can do with this, but it's doing nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing. And I know I've said other cards like Pantheism and Monarchs are doing nothing, but this is a whole new level of nothing. Bring it back to 3. Secret Village of the Spellcasters? Yes, on the version of me, Secret Village of the Spellcasters. Yep, it's going to 1. I really, really don't like this card, and I feel that this card is a true example of how certain decks can just make you not play Yu-Gi-Oh! Very similar to FTKs, OTKs and all that. Simply, if you have this card on the field and you do not play Spellcasters, you do not play spell cards. So any deck that you play right now, think of a deck you own that doesn't have a spellcaster, that maybe has a lot of spell cards. I'm talking you get no draws off Duality, Demise, Desires, you get no destruction off MST, Twin Twisters to out this card. You are forced to make something like a Nightmare Phoenix just to out this card, only for them possibly to have another copy of it and you have to do it again, and people aren't playing multiple Nightmare Phoenixes. And sure as hell, if you're going to make a unicorn just to shuffle this back in the deck just so you can activate your Desires to get ashed, no. And Altergeist play this, and Altergeist is slowly becoming a top tier deck, so I think this thing has to go to 1. Altergeist Multifaker to 1. And the final card on the ban list, like I just said, is Multifaker to 1, Altergeist, another initial hit to them. I do think this deck, without hits, will instantly become the best deck of the format, and I feel hitting it would completely reset the format and allow some other decks to power through. Of course, with the release of Savage Strike and the Guard Dragons, maybe they could see some top tier play, and well, a bunch of other decks, and I just feel hitting the decks that are currently in the format heading into the first set of the new year would be great. I feel that this ban list should be done before Savage Strike comes out. Now, I believe Savage Strike sneak peeks are the 26th and 27th of January. It is for my local store, and I believe it is released the 31st, I want to say. So I think a complete hit of all the meta decks. Probably miss one of those meta decks, but Multifaker to 1, it's too easy to summon. It generates easy advantage, helps Altergeist do that additional bit of spam, which is what they kind of lack. They don't tend to put 15 monsters out at once, but this helps get extra monsters out, creates a lot of loops, a lot of negations, a lot of bounces, and Altergeist are really overpowered for that reason. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video, guys, and if you have, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you check out my Twitch. I do tend to stream, twitch.tv/ScreechGames. Link will be in the description. This is a total finale of my ban list coming up in credit form because professional. And yeah, I'm quite happy with this ban list, and yeah, the big question lies at the bottom, but max C to 3? Peace, guys.